Right, what's going on, fellas? I just put up the video of my all-time bench PR to pins that I did today. Pretty stoked with that. Thank you guys for all the positive comments. It means a lot to me, especially because I whipped out the editing skills a little bit on that one. I know it's not actually good, but had some fun editing it. Cool to see that people liked it. I've been trying to have a little bit more fun when editing the videos, and I think it's showing in the videos. And so I'm going to keep doing that. But I was finishing up editing that video, doing spreadsheets, because, man, this peaking cycle, I've been so exhausted. I've been having such a hard time keeping up with my work and my clients, and excited to roll into a hypertrophy phase so I can have a little bit more energy and help out my guys a little bit better, because it's been annoying me that I haven't been doing as good of a job as I like. So rolling into a new training cycle, doing spreadsheets, kind of getting a jump on it now that I got that bench PR done. And I got a text from my little sister asking about, I don't remember what supplement it was. I think it was bee pollen, saying, I was like reading something that it said, this is healthy. Is that true? Because she will text me from time to time because she respects my opinion on kind of supplements and health stuff, which is cool. Considering I got my degree in it and it's what I do for a living. I'm always a little surprised how little weight people put behind my opinion. Like I'll be at dinner and someone will be like, well, Sam, what do you think? And they'll be like, well, I think this. And I'm like, damn, got to put a little bit, come on. I know a little bit at least. So I always think it's cool when someone respects and wants to hear my opinion on anything like that. So it's cool that my little sister will text me, and so I do my best to help her, right? Because she comes across a lot of information on like TikTok, and some of it's really good and helped her endeavors working out and getting healthy, because in the past she kind of crash dieted and was not the healthiest person in the world. So she's made a lot of progress and a lot of good information, a lot of bad information. So she'll kind of send stuff to me to vet it. And she was like, oh, is this helpful? Or is this a good idea? Should I be taking this for like the health benefits? And I gave her a little kind of breakdown of how I view supplements that I wanted to share with you guys, because, she's just trying to get healthy. We're trying to get strong and jacked. Or as Paulo Costa would say, strong and jacket.
You want to know what I have here on my Secret Juice, Costa Secret Juice? Make you strong and jacket.
We're trying to get strong and jacket. So we also might be looking at supplements. And you might think, man, should I be taking that? Am I missing out not taking that? Am I not missing out not taking that? And here on YouTube, we kind of swung against supplements because they were largely overhyped. Like you had that shitty marketing of all bodybuilders aren't allowed to mention that they're on steroids and attribute all their gains to supplements, which people were disillusioned with that pretty quickly. But it kind of led to people being pretty anti-supplement. And when we're saying supplements, you kind of have like things with a fancy name, and they're a kind of amalgam of different ingredients. So like a pre-workout, a post-workout, a mass gainer shake, right, with the fancy names from different brands. I'm not a fan of those because I think they're marked up a ton from the individual ingredients, because they got to pay for their athletes that they sponsor, and they're getting a big cut of it. I would rather I know what specific ingredients I do want and buy the individual ingredients from a company like Now Supplements or Bulk Supplements. I like those guys. Good prices. They don't have a huge marketing budget, so they're not taking a big cut. It's just the ingredient that you want. So I guess that's kind of two different things. There's supplements that are all grouped together in like kind of a glom of different things, which you can support like athletes you like with their code. But I don't know, it's just so expensive. I'm not really a fan. I don't think the returns are great. Or you could identify, hey, I do get good results from this one. I believe it's these two active ingredients. I can buy those raw ingredients and get a month's supply for relatively cheap. And kind of in that category of like single ingredient supplements would come like vitamins and minerals as well. So we kind of get into this question of like, should I be taking supplements? I don't really think athletes need to be I don't think they're missing out. Most of my best athletes, nowadays I've got 4 guys, including myself, pulling 800, kind of cheap to include myself, but 4 sounds better than 3. And I've got a lot of really strong athletes. I'm very proud to work with strong athletes, and I get to observe what the habits of high performers are, so that way my opinion isn't just, here's my anecdotal experience as one strong guy. I can give you a little bit more of a zoomed out view. Okay, there's clients that do this succeed, the clients that don't. So it's kind of removing at least a little bit of the bias of, oh, well, that just works for me. You can kind of see what works for other people. And I've noticed no correlation between the guys that spend a bunch of money on fancy pre-workouts and intra-workouts and fancy like different, God forbid, test boosters, right? I don't see better results from those guys, right? So I really don't think it's worth your money. If you have one you like that's a convenience, like a protein powder you like, or you want to support a specific guy who's got a company, that's awesome. That's really fine. I'm not telling you not to buy them, but don't feel any pressure to buy them. You're not missing out on shit by not getting any pre-formulated stuff. Now, supplements, on the other hand, right, whereas like single ingredients, we can look at like our basic performance supplements like creatine, Debatably beta-alanine, depending on like what energy thresholds we're working on. Caffeine is a phenomenal ergogenic aid. I don't know, carb powders, protein powders, EAA powders, dextrose, like inter-workout carbs, that kind of thing, are a basic kind of performance package. And those can be nice if you've got the spare money. But again, if we're eating a good diet, no, those aren't that important either. Now, if you're someone who's like, I want to do every last bit I can, I want to be Mr. Perfect and cross my T's and dot my I's, and I've got a couple bucks to spare, and you want to have your own homemade pre-workout with some creatine, some beta-alanine, and some caffeine, go for it. If you want to have a little intra-workout, because you train in the morning and you want to be drinking some carbs while you train, go for it. But don't feel like you're missing out big time. And you're like, oh, am I cheating myself by not spending this little bit of money? Fuck no. Hell no. Sorry for swearing. I don't think so. Now we get to kind of that third category of supplements, which is going to be general health supplements, right? Performance. We got performance like package supplements, kind of crap unless you want to support somebody or really like one of them, like the taste of one of them. We've got individual ingredients performance stuff, which is something you can pick up if you're really invested in being that guy that leaves nothing to, trying to not leave every stone unturned, whatever. You'll be that guy. Those are worth it, but don't feel any pressure to. And then we've got general health supplements. And when it comes to general health supplements, this is what I told my little sister. I said, hey, well, you can find a ton of different things that have some reasonable research to support that they're healthful. Tons and tons of things. They do work, and they don't have a completely negligible like impact, right? We can go like beetroot powder. We can go, good Lord, the list. Sorry, I'm stumbling. I'm very tired after that bench press. But the list is absolutely endless of things that do have pretty reasonable health effects. But the problem is if we think we need to take every one to prevent every condition we don't yet have, it causes this big amount of anxiety of I need to spend more, I'm not taking this. This means I could potentially have more of a propensity towards this issue. You need to do every one. And that massive amount of anxiety and negative hormones that come along with it almost are a net negative. The people I know that are most obsessed with taking every health supplement seem to have worse health outcomes because of the constant stress they're putting themselves under. It almost outweighs all of those individually helpful supplements. So the way I told my sister to look at it is don't stress about taking every single thing that's got some research to back that it's helpful. There's probably a couple of things that I like most of my athletes taking, and that is going to be fish oil, because most people aren't getting their 1 to 2 servings of like salmon through the week just to cover those omega-3s. Because of the essential fatty acids are cool and good. Magnesium, specifically magnesium glycinate, because it absorbs better. It's not going to cause you to shit yourself. Very cool. It absorbs pretty well. Very hard to get from the diet unless we're eating a lot of pumpkin seeds or oysters or almonds. We have to be eating a good bit of the pumpkin seeds or the almonds. Oysters, actually, if you love them, that's actually very good, and it does kind of check that box pretty simply. But most people aren't getting enough magnesium. The instant effect of like the guys I coach, I'm like, hey, here's a really cheap one. It's not that much money. You're going to be more productive at work. If you sleep better, it's going to be a net positive. It's just $15 each month, and I think it's worth it. And they text me the first night. They're like, oh, weird dreams, but man, I slept well. And their performance in the gym always bumps. And I really just, that's kind of one that like, I've got my mom, Kirsten's mom, both of them says, oh, I sleep so much better. I like the magnesium glycinate to the point where it's kind of a blanket recommendation. And then depending on where you live, D3. I know there's some research that, oral supplementation of vitamin D3 doesn't affect blood levels, actually. That's not been my experience. I've seen mine, my blood levels go up during the wintertime due to supplementation. I had to take more than the like 400 IU. That is like the RDA. I actually went up towards like 5,000 to 10,000 IUs, or I think that's what it was, to finally see that my blood markers change. But it worked for me. I felt a lot better. I slept a lot better. Depending on where you live, I just kind of throw those out there as a blanket recommendation. Those are kind of the big three. I told my sister, I'm like, hey, just probably, because she lives in Seattle, I'm like, hey, just let's do those. I do think that's a good idea. The fish oil, the magnesium, and then the D3. But then every other supplement you take should be to address a specific issue. Don't try to predict every issue you don't have yet. It's just going to be too much money. It's going to be too much stress. She's got low iron. So there's an iron supplement. You take vitamin C alongside it to increase its absorption, whatever. Their doctor recommended that. That's probably a good idea. He's trying to eat some red meat alongside that, but it's to address a specific issue. If you said, oh, my blood pressure is bad, you could do some research into what are effective either over-the-counter or prescribed blood pressure supplements, right? If you know, oh, my cholesterol profile doesn't look too good, my triglyceride profile doesn't look too good, my energy levels are bad, my sleep is bad, like it doesn't have to be blood work stuff. We find something that we know is a weak spot for us, and then we can take a good supplement to address that. And that's fine, but don't try to address things that aren't an issue for you, or it's just an endless rabbit hole. So I'm sorry for rambling. Like I said, I'm a little exhausted, but I thought this might be a fun video.